Hello, everyone. I'm Dwayne Bonifer in the Lindsey Wilson University Office of Public Relations, and this is The View from the Hill, the podcast of Lindsey Wilson University. Every week during the academic year, The View from the Hill features conversations with some of the people who help create the dynamic living, learning environment that serves the educational needs of every Lindsey Wilson student every day. In this 12th podcast of the 2025-2026 school year, we'll visit with Robert, Brock, and Kassidy Phelps. They're members of Lindsey Wilson's outstanding theater program. They're going to discuss the final two productions of the fall and also fill us in on what's been happening in the university's theater program. Robert, we're now officially in the dark months of the year as the days are getting shorter, and you can't get much darker than the psychological thriller Wait Until Dark. It will be performed November 19th through the 21st and the 23rd in VP Henry Auditorium.
Yeah. You don't have to wait too much longer for Wait Until Dark. The darkness is coming. Oh my gosh. Anyway, this is a play from quite some time ago. It was made into a movie with Alan Arkin and Audrey Hepburn. I remember seeing it, and it really scared the heck out of me. It's a really well-written mystery thriller. This one is an adaptation by Jeffrey Hatcher. It flows a little better. It's a little shorter. He didn't make a lot of big changes, except that the thing about the doll, if anybody knows this, in the movie and in the original play had heroin in it, and these drug criminals are trying to find it. They've lost it, and they're trying to find it. And in this one, it's diamonds. And he changed the setting to 1944 when the other was in the 1960s. And it makes some difference, but basically the story and everything is all the same. And Frederick Knott wrote this, and he created a really strong, dark criminal. And I'm not going to give anything away, but it's pretty much up front in the first scene. You see just how dark this guy is, and it gets worse. And so they're in the apartment of a blind girl, and this doll has happened to come into her and her husband's possession by accident, and these criminals are after it. They don't want to murder anybody to get it. They're trying to get it by a legitimate means, and so they're doing a lot of conning, dressing up as policemen and stuff like that. But this blind woman is at the center of it, and so she goes from being not helpless, but she's struggling. She's only been blind a year. She was in an accident, and so she goes from that to being very self-sufficient and having to defend herself against this guy in the dark. And it's a great play. It really is. It holds up, and so we're looking forward to it. It got a good cast, and so we'll be ready.
So then you go from a psychological thriller in November to something a little bit lighter in December. You'll be presenting a holiday cabaret December 4th and the 5th and the 7th in VP Henry Auditorium as well. You've done the holiday cabaret in the past. That's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want to say we've done it maybe 5-6 times. I always want to have something at Christmas, and we haven't been able to do that for a while. We haven't been able to do it regularly. So Kassidy and I made sure we have it this year. And she's been the music director. She's working with them. And so this is all kinds of songs, carols, Christmas, holiday. just to be, bring a festive atmosphere, kind of the light in the darkness that we will have left around in Wait Until Dark. Sorry, but Dwayne does that to me. So anyway, we picked out a lot of songs. We've got groups singing some things. It's not just one person coming out and singing a song one after another. It's going to be different groups, sometimes full chorus and everything. We've got a lot of students involved, some staff, and so it's exciting. I feel like a theater needs to always celebrate that time of year somehow, and we did it one year with a Christmas Carol, and then it wasn't a long day's journey into night. It was The Long Christmas Dinner by Thornton Wilder, which was I love that play. But just to have something at Christmas, and so many Christmases have gone by and we haven't had that, so we're back to it and excited about it.
Kassidy, by the time this episode is played, we will have concluded the musical, Anne of Green Gables, the musical. In addition to performing it for the general public, however, it was also performed for a lot of area school children.
Yes, it's being performed, by the end of this, it will have been performed for about 1,200 students. That includes anywhere in our hour and a half kind of region radius of public school children, and then also some homeschool families as well. So we always really look forward to that. And
you've had a really good reception and response from area schools as well.
Yes, so far we have many Adair County school groups, some Somerset school groups. I try not to leave everybody out. Some Tompkinsville school groups. A wide range that some look forward to this every year, and they reach out kind of usually sometimes in the summer wanting to know what we're going to be doing in the fall, and then we usually let them know about early August so they can start planning for that. But yeah, we usually have a really good response as far as people who want to come see these for field trips and for educational outreach.
And it really animates the performances by the students as well who are in the play.
Yes, I tell them that there's nearly nothing like performing for children. They're a completely different audience than what you would get with adults. And so usually they run the show one way, and then when they first get this first school group, they are like, okay, I get it. This is totally different. And then that brings it to a whole other level for them usually.
You're listening to the Lindsey Wilson View from the Hill podcast. I'm Dwayne Bonifer in the Lindsey Wilson Office of Public Relations. I'm talking to Robert Brock and Kassidy Phelps from Lindsey Wilson's theater program. They're previewing the final 2 productions of the fall season and telling us a little bit about the theater program as well. To read more about them, you can go to the news section of the Lindsey Wilson website, and you get there by pointing your internet browser to lindsey.edu/news. In fact, this is the perfect time to order tickets to both productions, and you can do that by going to lindsey.edu/theater, and that's theater spelled R-E, and clicking on the Get Tickets button. Now let's get back to my conversation with Lindsey Wilson's Robert Brock and Kassidy Phelps. Let's talk about the major here at Lindsey Wilson in theater. We not only have a major in theater at Lindsey Wilson, but we also have a major in arts administration. 2 very strong majors. Let's talk about what those majors are for, who the ideal student is for each one of those majors.
Years ago, there was a faculty assembly, and they brought in a number of managers and CEOs of businesses, factories around this region. And they were to talk to us about what they look for in a college graduate. So this wasn't directly related to theater, but everything they listed is exactly the things that you learn in theater. I mean, you got to work with a diverse group of people. You may not like them all, but you've got one goal, and you've got to work together to make that happen. You've got to be punctual. You've got to be adaptable. You got to all these things they were looking for, and I was listening to it going, that's it. I mean, that's exactly what you learn in theater. And so it's not necessarily a major that is just about trying to make it in the movies or Broadway. First of all, there's a whole world of theater that isn't that. And, you know, I made a living in theater for a long time, but it wasn't Broadway or film. But in regional theaters, that's whole circuit. But it also, I mean, a lot of people I went to school with who majored in theater went to law school, went to a lot of different things, but the theater major really helped them. And a lot of people and a lot of these managers were talking about, you know, when it's what they're looking for on a resume, a work resume or anything is, you know, can this person adapt? And when they see theater, they know a few things, you know, that they would have been skilled in this. They would have had to work this way, and that can help them. So I tell that to my students basically to give them some ammunition to go against their parents who don't want them to do this. My parents didn't. I remember when I told them I was going to be an actor, the temperature in the room dropped about 50 degrees. I mean, it just froze over. It's like, oh my gosh. And yet, you know, here I am 45 years later, and it all worked. And so there's, you know. So we have a strong major. And then through the years, a lot of our majors have been double majors all along. But there has been a movement to get an arts administration major because, first of all, there's a big need for arts administrators all over the world now, more so than ever. And so I thought, well, that's a perfect major to go with theater, to double major in. And so we finally got it through spring of 24, I believe. And so it's had a year and a semester where it's going. We've already got, I think, 7 majors signed up. Some, not all of them are theater, but 4 of them, 3 or 4 are theater, and others are in art, and 1 in music. And so, you know, it's young, but it's taking off, and but it's a perfect thing because, like Kassidy was saying, people who are drawn to, say, a theater major or a theater program generally want to be actors. They want to be seen on stage. And then they do it enough and they realize, you know, well, there's a lot more to this. There's a lot of other ways I can go. I mean, I started out and that's all I was doing was acting. But at a certain point, I started getting interested in directing. And then that became, I was doing both for a long time, and even design, set design. I mean, and then, you know, I kind of fell into a position of arts administration. And I had to learn that on the run, you know, the school of hard knocks. But there's so much out there. There's so many ways to go. There's not one way. And yeah, the acting road is difficult, but you know, so is med school or law school or anything else is difficult. But it certainly can be done, but someone doesn't have to just focus in one place. It's wide open.
That's Robert Brock, and you also heard from Kassidy Phelps. They're both outstanding members of the faculty in Lindsay Wilson's theater program. And once again, Wait Until Dark will be performed November 19th through the 21st and November 23rd in VP Henry Auditorium. Then a holiday cabaret will be performed December 4th and the 5th and December 7th, also in VP Henry Auditorium. You can purchase your tickets for one or both productions, and you can do it online by steering your internet browser to lindsay.edu/theater. That's theater spelled R-E, and clicking on the Get Tickets button. And that's going to do it for this 12th edition of View from the Hill for the 2025-2026 school year. You can tell us what you like or what you don't like about this podcast by firing off an email to us at news@lindsay.edu. Be sure to put podcast in the subject line. Either way, be sure to encourage your friends, co-workers, family members, associates, and neighbors to subscribe to View from the Hill. They can subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on the university's YouTube channel. View from the Hill is produced by Shelby Burton. She's Lindsay Wilson's Assistant Director of Public Relations and Media Producer. And until our next edition, I'm Dwayne Bonifer in the Lindsay Wilson University Office of Public Relations. Thanks so much for listening. So long, everybody, and have a nice day.